Let's get into it. What's going on, guys? Coach Colin here. Now, I'm sure you've already heard about the missing evidence in the Tyler Robinson, Charlie Kirk case. If you haven't, I went and did some digging because I noticed when people find a certain clip, they find information, they always just give you a little snippet. I don't like that. I like to find the whole video. So the whole video of KUTV, Salt Lake City, they did some great work. They put in a request. They were trying to find footage of Tyler Robinson actually walking in, turning himself in alongside his father. Apparently that's missing. Now, we're going to get into that. I'm going to show you that whole video, and then I'm going to show you a little bit of what Candace had to say about this whole thing. I'm going to show you what Dana Love had to say about this whole thing from WFF News. I'm going to show you what James Lee had to say. He goes a little deeper. And I'm even going to show you what Benny Johnson had to say about this whole thing. So if you didn't know about the missing evidence, you are 100% going to understand it from beginning to end after you watch this video. That's what I like to do for you guys. Let's jump in and start with, and I want you guys to actually see who this is here, KUTV 2 News Salt Lake City. They are doing some great work. This is not the first time that they've done some investigative work on this thing. Let's listen to what they have to say.
Is a Rule 8 attorney, qualifications only select number of defense attorneys in Utah have in order to defend cases with a capital offense, some involving a possible death penalty. He's not affiliated with the case involving Tyler Robinson, who's accused of shooting and killing Charlie Kirk back in September. I showed him what I found that could indicate there is potential missing evidence in the case.
He said, "Hey, I know who Charlie Kirk's shooter is."
On September 17th, 2025, Washington County Sheriff Nate Brooksby held a press conference.
Our job was not to interview, our job was just to get him here.
After Charlie Kirk's alleged shooter was taken into custody in Washington County less than 2 days after the shooting.
Within the hour, my friend drove Tyler and his parents to my office, where he was greeted by plainclothes detectives.
After learning of this, I submitted a public records request to obtain any video of Tyler Robinson walking into the jail facility. Washington County responded saying there were no records responsive to the request, as Robinson did not go to the jail area. Our request for any holding room video was denied. A few weeks later, I re-upped the request on a more generalized scale for surveillance video showing Tyler Robinson walking into the sheriff's office.
For the state of Utah, we would certainly hope that this video is available.
The response? Our office does not have any applicable records responsive to this request, as the surveillance footage is no longer available after the 30-day retention period.
I know, way too close to the camera, but you have to understand, I have a Patreon now, so consider subscribing to the Patreon. As you know, sometimes we get attacked by bigger accounts and it puts this channel in jeopardy. On Patreon, I'll be able to talk about things that I can't talk about here, and you'll have more of a link to me just in case, because like I said, they're going to figure out this whole Philadelphia thing that I've been rolling with the past few weeks. And if they do, you'll find me over there, link in the description. So just so you know, in case anybody is speculating to you, and there's another like 2 minutes to this clip, I just have to jump in here. In case anybody is speculating to you that the authorities took this footage, and that's why it's not there. It's not this whole thing. It's not. Take off your tinfoil Speedo. Jim, you don't need to be wearing that thing. No. Listen, they said the 30-day retention period. Okay? Now, this is pretty big footage. The same way that Charlie Kirk's crime scene was pretty important, right? That was a pretty important space. They dug it up, did what they had to do, I guess. This is the same type of thing. You think that 30-day retention period, they'd be like, you know what? Actually, I feel like we just had a pretty big alleged murderer here, so I think we're going to keep it. What do you say, guys? 10 of them were like, no, 30 days, delete it. Is that what happened? Okay. Anyway, let's keep going.
If in fact it has been destroyed and not preserved, it's very concerning. And if it has, then it's very concerning that they're telling you they don't have it. If they no longer have it, I would have expected to say that this video has been provided to the Utah County law enforcement. Please contact them. But instead, this letter leads, in my opinion, as trying to shut the door and not give you free access to the press.
While it's not clear if the video exists and was just handed over to another agency, in a response to me, Washington County shared with me they don't believe the video was shared with anyone involved in the case.
Wanting to get videos showing that he turned himself in and the manner he did so would be crucial for the defense work of mitigation.
26 years as a criminal defense attorney in Utah, Bautista is currently working another capital case in Utah County with the state intending to seek the death penalty.
Again, Mr. Kirk, by all counts, was a great young man who was helping educate people, and we encourage that. And this is very tragic that he's lost his life, but it is not a death penalty case.
When you look at this case on the surface and what you've seen play out, what stands out to you?
What stands out to me is this is not an aggravated murder case. In order for it to be an aggravated murder case, that something is that can qualify for the death penalty, there has to be an aggravating factor.
Bautista says the alleged weapon in the shooting alone doesn't meet the standard for prosecutors to seek the death penalty.
The risk of hitting someone else really isn't there. And so that's why I believe that aggravating factor is really weak. Now, why it was charged that way is clearly political.
I hope he gets the death penalty.
And I just want to remind people that we still have the death penalty here in the state of Utah.
Instead of looking at it objectively, a prosecutor is to look at the evidence objectively and then charge the person with the most applicable crime. Here, where they're saying it will be this crime, we are now taking evidence, so they're trying to make the facts fit a cause of action that is not applicable.
Bautista.
That makes a lot of sense. That is starting to make a lot of sense. And listen, I'm not some, I'm not, what would you call it? A Tyler Robinson apologist. I'm not a fan. I'm not thinking that he's an angel or something. I'm not screaming free Tyler like Bill Burr was screaming free Luigi. I'm not doing that. That's not me. But there is something to that. Now, I did a video probably like 2 weeks ago, maybe longer, and it was of 4 witnesses who for some reason weren't held to any gag order. For some reason, they were allowed to give their recounting of what happened that day when Charlie passed. And at the end of it, and I didn't even play it because I didn't even want that subliminally being put out there. But at the end of it, like a nice 4-minute chunk, they start talking about the D penalty. That sounds terrible. Sometimes when they make us edit our language, it sounds worse. So the D penalty, if you're laughing, you're as immature as I am. There we go. So they started talking about the D penalty. They started talking about it over and over again. And each witness was like, yeah, I think that's what's fitting. And yeah, you know what, like the Bible says, if you take a life and you have to, it's biblical. They started, it was just like 4 minutes of just like D penalty, advertisement. It was very weird, very, very weird. So I think he's right about that. They're trying to make that fit. And it's been the thing that's been said over and over and over again. And let me tell you something. What happens if that happens, if they go that route, Tyler's convicted and they go that route, well, Tyler never gets to tell his story. Tyler never gets to talk about anything. Tyler never gets to say, like OJ. OJ's like, I wrote a book. It's called, If I Did It. Right? It's crazy that he wrote a book like that, but he did. Tyler doesn't get to do any of that. Tyler just disappears once that happens. Dead men tell no tales, Anyway, there's a couple of seconds left. Let me keep going.
Bautista believes the death penalty conversation in this case was pushed too soon.
Certainly suggests abuse in our higher government.
Utah County Attorney Jeff Gray filed a notice of intent to seek the death penalty against Tyler Robinson, who's accused of shooting and killing Charlie Kirk. Gray said on September 16th, just days after the shooting, that the decision to seek the death penalty was made independently. Brian Schnee, KUTV 2 News.
Brian Schnee, that is the guy right there who did that legwork and actually put that request in and found this out. And I just feel like he has to be given his props. I mean, honestly, Does he even have a YouTube channel? Like, it says it right here. I mean, but look at this video. This video doesn't have any views. I mean, I know you just saw it here, but man, go give that channel some love. Just play the video, something. Like, let's check out Brian Schnee. I want to check him out. Look at that, 134. For the love of the game. I mean, this guy, I know he's getting paid for what he does. I understand that 100%. But for the love of the game, 137 subscribers. Wow. Broke a story like that. Only 137, or sorry, not even, yeah, only 137. I was going to say 1,000 subscribers. Wow. Wow. For the love of the game. I mean, put it up one more time. Give that guy some love. I mean, he's probably not, you know, he's not as frequent as I am or Candace or anything like that, but still, man, he's doing it. He's doing it just to do it. And again, I know he's getting paid by his company and everything, but still. Now, let's hear what Candace had to say about this whole thing, because this is something that Candace touched on, and she actually got, you know, the whole, I don't even know, the conservative circle just pretty much attacked her on this. Listen to this.
The dad, Tyler Robinson's dad, recognized his own son and then turned his son in. And I told you that was a lie. That's not how things went down. And I was called a liar, and no one believed that I had sources. Well, now, mysteriously, the footage of Tyler Robinson turning himself in, which should, in theory, show his dad and him walking in. His dad turned him in. Remember that storyline? Well, it doesn't seem like we're ever going to be able to get that footage because it's now missing, ? I don't know, guys. We just can't get one verifiable piece of evidence that Tyler Robinson even exists. Does he even exist? I think it's a fair question. Is he just an AI app? Does Tyler Robinson even exist at this point? Feels like a fair question because we can't get one clear image. And now, which good on them for realizing, oh wait, actually we can put in a gamma request and figure out whether, like, we can just watch him turn himself in. That's a big part of the story. Heroic dad marches his son in and says, here he is. And I told you that was all crap. So what actually happened? What actually happened? He also can't appear in person. He's appearing electronically. Doesn't have to put his video on for court hearings. What is going on? How dare they call anything that we are covering a conspiracy theory? The conspiracy theory, I tell you what it is right now. I don't want you guys to be conspiracy theorists. The conspiracy theory is that Tyler Robinson, who did not attend UVU, had never been on UVU campus, packed up his car that day, jumped onto a rooftop, figured out how to like jump around like Spider-Man, and just knew exactly where Charlie Kirk would be seated, despite having never been there. Took one shot with 30-06 that got stopped because Charlie eats spinach. And he swallowed it, actually, because it actually ricocheted down into his stomach. He then makes a hasty retreat into a Dairy Queen where he texts every minute of what he did to his lover. And then, despite going home to his lover, he decides the next day to still text his lover more about his dad. Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, he's home, but they're still texting more because, like, that's what you should do as opposed to just talking to him face to face. And he wanted to get away with it, and he expresses that. But at the same time, despite the fact that he's got like a 4.3 GPA and he's like a boy genius, he just decides to write every minute of the crime that he had just committed to his love. That's actually the conspiracy theory. Like, that's the tinfoil hat conspiracy theory. I don't want you guys to believe that. That's crazy. That is totally crazy stuff. Anyways, we'll be right back and respond to some of your questions and comments.
Man, she's right. She's right. She's right. And one thing she said at the beginning, I've actually, funny enough, and I wonder if she actually saw the same posts, but that would mean she's so dialed in. If she saw this comment, because I've been seeing comments in different videos, not even in my own comment threads, but people saying, is this guy even real? There have been many people asking that same question, jokingly, but also not jokingly. They've been saying, is this guy a real person? And it's really true. When you go back to that episode I did about Elizabeth Lane, she's sitting down with Julian Dory, and they are going over the fact that he had that 1,000-yard stare, that he's just staring, and he doesn't even move. The first court hearing, He just says, he leans in, says his name, just goes back like that. There's another time he was in court too. He wasn't even on video. It was just, you're there, right? You can't actually appear on the video, but you're there. Yes, sir. That's all you hear. That's it. It's really, really odd. And then they put him in that vest. You know what that vest is? That's the vest when you're really, really sad and they're worried about you. But there was no signs of that with him. Not that we know of. You know, even looking into his background and everything. It's almost like a little bit of a, you know, just a little bit of a programming, you might say. Yeah, it's really weird. It's really weird. It's hard to tell. And here's the thing, you know, tinfoil speedo, of course. But is that actually impossible? Is it impossible to, like, how many people would have to be involved for him to not be real? He's Pinocchio, you know, he's Pinocchio. I'm not saying anything crazy, right? I'm just posing a thought process. I'm not saying anything concrete at all. How many people would have to be involved? There have to be not even a lot of people. Because who saw him at the school? Well, nobody. Nobody saw him at the school. For some reason, there's been no interview of the person. If you see the picture of him going up the stairs, there's somebody coming down the stairs. Why hasn't that person been interviewed? Why hasn't that person surfaced at all? At all? I don't know. But who saw him? Nobody really. Saw him jump off the roof. Who saw him jump off the roof? Nobody. It's actually really weird. You know, when you think about it, who saw him put the Mauser away between the shed and in the wooded area, in the leafy area? No one. Who saw him at the Dairy Queen? No one. Dairy Queen's gone. You know, it's weird. It's a weird thing. You know, I'm not saying that's true, but it is weird when you start to think about it. Who saw him in the car heading there? No one. Did he go to he had to drive for hours. Did he stop at a gas station? Has anybody seen him there? No one. And then they're like, we don't really want him on camera as he enters the courtroom or leaves the courtroom. What's going on? And it's like, we don't even have to ask the question if technology has gotten to that point. Of course it has. Technology is at the point where you can see a video of Michael Jackson and Tupac dancing while eating fried chicken together. That's where we're at. And Ozzy Osbourne is the guy handing them their food. Yeah, that's where technology's at. You can see that all day if you want. We're at the point in technology where Joe Rogan keeps on playing AI 50 Cent songs. And he loves them. It's his favorite music. The biggest podcaster in the world, well, second compared to Candace here. The biggest one in the world, his favorite music is old blues AI 50 Cent music. That's where we're at with technology. I'm just saying, you know? Let's jump into this. Let's get deeper into the information, people. Let's go.
This is wild. Salt Lake City KUTV is now reporting that the surveillance footage of Tyler Robinson turning himself into authorities is missing. 2 News filed a public records request asking for this footage, and they got this response. Quote, "We do not have any records responsive to this portion of the request as Tyler Robinson did not go to or enter the jail area." Which is weird because it was public national news that Tyler Robinson surrendered at the sheriff's office. He was taken into a building marked authorized personnel only. Robinson was kept in the back offices of the sheriff's office and turned over to the FBI and other law enforcement upon their arrival just before 6 a.m. on Friday. So where is this footage? And remember, authorities knew that he was turning himself in because they had negotiated a gentle surrender. So you have to wonder now, did it ever exist? Were cameras turned off? Or did this footage go missing? As always, I want to hear what you think about all of this down below.
I think it's so funny when YouTube types do like the whole the anchor voice. I would like to know what you think down below. Back to you, Roger. Why? We're free from that. We don't have to do that anymore. Look at me. I'm not even in a suit. I'm just I'm in a Longhorn sweater with a hat on. Hunter S. Thompson glasses. Like, what are we talking? You don't have to do that anymore. We're done with that. We don't have to talk like that. I don't know. Some people do it. And look at this top comment. This was before Candace even said this. So this person did not get this from Candace. At this point, did he ever exist? Like a lot of people are asking that question, man. Look at that. And then somebody else, or possibly never existed. Like nuts. And again, that was like 15 hours before Candace even brought it up. So very interesting. Let's go into Jesse Lee.
A few weeks later, I re-upped the request on a more generalized scale for surveillance video showing Tyler Robinson walking into the sheriff's office.
For the state of Utah, we would certainly hope that this video is available.
The response? Our office does not have any applicable records responsive to this request, as the surveillance footage is no longer available after the 30-day retention period.
So I actually went and looked some of this stuff up, and according to the Washington County Sheriff's policy manual, they don't have a 30-day retention policy.
What?
Yeah, and this seems to be a repeating pattern, a repeating theme with this whole case, is that every time they give us more information, it seems like it just unveils a whole new set of pieces that don't make any sense at all.
Remember, Tyler Robinson never even confessed or pled guilty.
He has not confessed to authorities. He is not cooperating.
It's not important that he never confessed, but what is important here is that his boyfriend is transgender.
Very interesting stuff. Very, very interesting. So there is no 30-day retention period, did they call it? Just holding on to something and then getting rid of it after 30 days. That's not a thing. Odd. But that's the reason that they gave. They officially gave that reason. Man, let's move on. Let's see if Benny Johnson has any look at Benny Johnson, just dismayed by this whole thing. Benny Johnson's sitting there like, well, I'm good friends with Tyler. I'm good friends with Andrew. They told me they wanted me to speak at Turning Point event. Oh no. And Candace says there's a list going on. Oh no. Watch out. Benny, don't go on stage, man. Benny needs to stay off stage. That's what I think. He's one of the good ones, honestly. I know some people don't like Benny. I think he's one of the good ones. Every time I think that he's going to be a company man and do exactly what everybody on his side is doing, he does something different. And I really, really like to see that, honestly. Like just the fact that he's talking about this at all. You know, he's friends with Jack Posopic. He's friends with Tyler. He's friends with Andrew. And he's still saying, in this video, he said, I'm not satisfied with this investigation whatsoever. So I found that very surprising. He's been like that. He was like that with the release of the files and everything. I think Benny's solid. That's just me, though. I've been watching Benny for a while.
When asked if the video was shared with any law enforcement or legal agency, the department responded, it is my understanding that it was never sent out to any agency. What? Legal analysis on missing video. News 2 took questions from the criminal defense attorney of 26 years in Utah who works capital cases, including the current case in Utah County involving the death penalty. For the state of Utah, it would certainly hope that the video is available. If, in fact, it has been destroyed or not preserved, it's very concerning. And if it has, it's very concerning that it's telling you that they don't have it. If they no longer have it, then I would expect them to say that the video has been provided to Utah law enforcement agencies, right, to be preserved. But instead, the letter reads, in my opinion, they're trying to shut the door and not give you access to this investigation. Video evidence of Robinson turning himself in would be crucial for the defense work of mitigation. He also believes the case involving Tyler Robinson, who's been charged with shooting death of Charlie Kirk, is not a death penalty case. Goodness gracious. So you see what I'm saying here with my concern? WTF, says Tim Pool. Holy crap, TV journalist in Utah submitted a request twice for the footage of Tyler Robinson. He was told the footage does not exist. Is this normal? Of course it's not. You can't make it up. Footage of Tyler Robinson turning himself into police does not exist. The footage simply does not exist anymore, or it never existed in the first place. You decide. Investigation found no surveillance footage of Tyler Robinson turning himself in after the murder of Charlie Kirk. The requests were denied. The video was deleted, or whatever. Nothing in the holding area. No footage of him entering the sheriff's office. Have you been in sheriff's office? I certainly have. I've been to police offices, federal buildings, and so on. Part of the job, right? And let me tell you what, like everything is under surveillance. The body cam, like there's body cams everywhere. There's cameras literally in every square inch of these police stations, everywhere, or federal buildings. So of course they have the footage. This is insane. Doesn't make any sense. I don't understand why they wouldn't have the footage. I mean, there's security footage of him at a Dairy Queen. There's security of him at a gas station.
Very,
there's no security footage of him turning himself in. I mean, it's hard for me. Like, listen, I'm not. It sucks. Like, so this is the best footage we have. You know, this is it. Oh man, it's strange. It's very, very strange. And so you can see now why I'm unsatisfied. I just want justice for my friend. I want the truth. And the only way we're going to get that is for people to show beyond a reasonable doubt, demonstrably, all the evidence and be fully transparent with the American people. It's a major trust deficit in all of this.
Man, well said. Major trust deficit. That is a great way to put it. Benny's kind of like real. Sometimes you have that moment, right? It seems like Benny's kind of realizing. Benny's like, but my guy won. My guy won. I don't understand. So, wait, are the authorities? Could they possibly be being dishonest? But hold on. But my guy won. I thought this stopped once my guy wins. No. It keeps going. Actually, doesn't stop. Allegedly. I'll be talking about this on the after show. But other than that, guys, I mean, let me know what you think about this whole thing. I mean, I think, and I'm going to be, the after show, we can say whatever we want. Here, we got to think about it. I think that the fact that there's no actual retention period, and that's what they said to the Brian Schnee, that they said that to him in writing, I think that shows that they either had those cameras down, which would be not a massive undertaking, but it would be a thing, or they have that footage, and that footage doesn't show what we've all been told. And if not, that is so weird. So weird. Man. Anyways, guys, just wanted to bring that to you. I'm out of here.